ever feel like your voice or opinions don't matter? Young people all over the nation feel like their opinions and votes don't matter, so they don't participate in elections to exercise the right to vote. I hear from multiple people in my generation that they refuse to vote or keep up with current events. I believe that everyone eligible to vote should vote because everyone's voice is heard. I believe that voting is important because everyone should exercise the right to vote because that is one of our most prominent rights as U.S. citizens. Why you should vote? In 1965, the Voting Rights Act was created to remove discriminatory voting restrictions on African Americans. Kevin J. Coleman in the Voting Rights Act claims that it is perhaps the country's most important voting rights laws. It helps give your candidates a better chance of winning. In the election of 2000, George Bush won against Al Gore with 537 votes. To put in that perspective, that is the average amount of students in a school. If those 537 people would have voted, and if they wanted Gore to win, he could have, if they participated in the election. People can't complain about the president if they don't vote. For example, if a citizen did not like Bush as a president but did not vote, they can't say anything because they could have voted against him and practiced their right to vote. So if they did vote, then they could have a legitimate say on what they agree and disagree on. Given that citizens have the right to vote and express their opinions, which many minorities have fought for, like African Americans and women, and if they don't practice their freedom, the generations before them fought for no reason. Why people feel like their vote doesn't matter. People may not vote because they are not educated and don't know whom to vote for, so they believe it is only best not to vote so that they don't mess anything up. Instead, they should take a moment to research and educate themselves about the candidates so they have a better understanding of who they will be voting for. There needs to be more options. If it's your left or right, there's no in between when it comes to elections. There needs to be more options to vote for because when you vote for other parties, you're actually helping the ones you oppose. Todd White used an example in the media. 2 dozen colleagues are trying to decide what to eat for lunch. There are 3 nominations. There's a popular vegetarian restaurant, a vegan restaurant, and a steakhouse. The results are in. 10 votes go for the vegetarian restaurant, 3 for the vegan restaurant, and 11 for the steakhouse. The people who voted for the vegan restaurant would prefer the vegetarian restaurant. Instead, they had to go to the steakhouse because the vegan option was not pertinent. For the people who don't think their vote matters, the Founding Fathers created the Electoral College. And what that is doing is giving the least populated states a chance to make a difference in voting for the president and having a say in issues. History archives states when a voter goes to the polls in a presidential election, they vote for the state of electors who have vowed to cast their ballots for the ticket in the Electoral College. Each state has a certain number of representatives per population. There are a total of 538 electors, and the candidate needs 273 votes. So what that does is make the candidates go to all states and gives many states to vote for them. And that gives the more minor states a say in who gets elected. I interviewed 2 U.S. civics teachers and asked them the following questions. Do you believe that voting is important? Why or why not? What advice would you give to a first-time voter? What is something you wish you had known whenever you were a first-time voter? Ms. Melgard and Ms. Clark said in an interview that they believe voting is 100% important because we have a representative democracy. We must vote in this democracy, and if we don't vote, then there will be no representative democracy. And it is one of our biggest rights and responsibilities, and many countries don't have that. They also believe that as a first-time voter, you should always research before entering the booth. Be educated on who's running, and avoid voting for people only because of the party that they are part of. They also said that whenever they were a first-time voter, they wish that they knew to do research and fill out their sample ballot. In conclusion, people have fought hard to make everyone's voices heard. You can't get upset if you don't like the president if you do not vote. The Electoral College explained it actually makes everyone's voices heard. So, now that you are more educated about the importance of voting, I urge you to go out and make your voices heard.